Last year, Nigeria's aviation industry, like every other sector, experienced its highs and lows. From the 255 million naira armored car controversy to the national airport remodeling exercise, the Nigeria-Israel bilateral air service agreement, and the proposed construction of 4 new terminals across the country were some of the events that shaped the year. On the program, we take a closer look at the year 2013. Welcome to Aviation This Week on Channels Television. I'm Bukola Joe Oketunbi.
On the home front, the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria has commenced the relocation of car hire operators at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, from the existing car park at the terminal to a temporary site located opposite the access plaza of the airport. This relocation becomes necessary in order to make way for the construction of a new car park on the former site. Under the arrangement, car hire operators will be required to move their cars from the temporary car park in batches and at intervals to a designated point in front of the arrivals hall of the terminal. This arrangement, which will be jointly supervised by officials of FAN and licensed car hire operators, is designed to minimize the inconvenience of passengers who wish to patronize car hire services at the airport. For those intending to connect Minna from Abuja, here's a piece of good news. Overland Airways, one of the nation's domestic airlines, has announced the resumption of scheduled flight services from Minna Airport to the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, from January the 2nd, 2014. The airline will also commence flights from Minna to Ilorin Airport on the same day. Overland Airways flights to Minna will depart Abuja at 7:30 a.m. and arrive Minna at 8 a.m., while flights from Minna to Abuja will depart at 5:50 p.m. and arrive Abuja at 6:20 p.m. every Monday to Friday. On the Minna to Lagos route, flights will depart Minna at 8:30 a.m. and arrive Lagos at 10:50 a.m., while flights from Lagos to Minna will depart at 3 p.m. and then arrive Minna at 5:20 p.m. from Monday to Friday.
Now to the foreign scene. January the 1st, 2014 marks exactly 100 years since the birth of commercial aviation. Here are some of the highlights of the first day in the industry. On January the 1st, 1914, a team of 4 visionaries combined efforts in the first scheduled commercial airline flight. Percival Fansler organized the funding for the St. Petersburg-Tampa airboat line, which provided the first scheduled air service across Tampa Bay, Florida. Thomas Benoit's airboat conducted the first flight piloted by Tony Yanos. Abraham Field, then mayor of St. Petersburg, paid $400 at auction for the 23 minutes flight. The industry began with only 1 passenger on 1 route on January the 1st, 1914. Today, the global aviation industry provides unprecedented connectivity and positively impacts, directly and indirectly, people in all corners of the world.
We'll take a short break, but when we return, Aviation This Week takes on the Minister of Aviation, Stella Odua, as she appraises our industry's performance in 2013 and unveils the plans for 2014.
Only the year remodeling of airports took center stage, and you won't be wrong. This exercise is sure giving the airports a more friendly look, but there's more to be done.
That step we've taken is only one of 50 steps, so we have 49 more to take. We need an expansion. We need total expansion. We should take this airport all the way down and expand it. So we'll have situations where we don't have to crowd the departure lounge.
In 2013, work also started on the construction of 5 new international airport terminals in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Kano, Abuja and Enugu under a memorandum of understanding between the governments of Nigeria and China. Through in the removal from office of the former Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Dr. Harold Demore, and his replacement 5 months after with Captain Fola Akinkotu. Then the Associated Airlines of October 3rd, 2013, killing about 16 persons on board was the lowest point. The plane was conveying the corpse of a former governor of Ondo State, Dr. Olusegun Agagu, from Lagos to Akure. But like every other crash, it took with it 3 other airlines, IRS, Chachangi, and Dana, which resumed operations on January 4, 2013, are currently not operating. The Saudi Arabia Airlines incident on the Abuja runway early December, which left airlines and passengers stranded for about 17 hours, also made the events list. The Nigerian-Israel bilateral agreement was another, and the opening of Kano and Enugu routes to Turkish and Ethiopian airlines respectively made headlines. As the new year rolls in, aviation practitioners and passengers still ask for an industry that is not only perceived to be safe, but indeed safe and secure.
It's been 2 years you took over as minister. Tell us where you are right now.
We're at the point where most of the things we've set out to do, we're close to the accomplishment time. We've been able to double the traveling capacities of the terminals. If you take Lagos, for instance, Lagos is actually about 250% increase in capacity. We have also been able to establish the fact that Nigeria should be a safety destination for travelers, and in doing so we had actually rehabilitated and upgraded essentially all the navigational aids, and so we have a very, very safe airspace for Nigeria, and so we ranked number 12. When it comes to the meteorological part of aviation, we have done very well. We're ISO compliance, ISO certified, and that means also that we have in place all the equipment, and not only that, the capacity to drive and maintain the equipment we have accomplished. For our capacity building, we have what we call the MIO, which is the training school. So we're able to improve what we're doing there, the equipment for training. We've been able to double the output. We used to have about 250. Now we've doubled that. Our target is actually to make sure that we have about 300% increase. But not only that, to ensure we have campuses, we have annexes in all the zone. And so we are taking training closer to the clients. The essence also is that our objective is to make Nigeria the hub for training. And so in the next 2 years, 1 out of every pilot coming out of Africa should be from Nigeria. The same way we want to make Nigeria a maintenance hub, and so we can have in-house capacity to maintain our aircraft. To do that, we need to have the capacity. In general, we have built huge in-house capacity. For instance, our AIB has increased in terms of capacity. For instance, we no longer will take our accident equipment out of Nigeria because we have the lab to do that in Nigeria, and so the accident investigation time is reduced. Not only that, we'll be able to do that for other Africans, but for us what is very key is the fact that we have preventive added to it, which means that we will not have the occurrence of accidents causation repeating itself. We'll be able to take preventive measures in place. So we've come out of a dead sector to a sector that is vibrant, to a sector that is efficient, but a sector that is productive. And for us, the ultimate is the repositioning where aviation becomes the catalyst for the social economic growth. Aviation is not just where passengers pass through, it's a commerce. In doing so, we're establishing what we call a metropolis. The metropolis becomes the funnel where all the commercial activity will grow and strive. So it's from dead to life. That's what aviation has become. And then from life to productivity, that's what aviation is becoming. So it's been a long journey, but in a very accelerated manner. And we're proud of what we've done.
Alright, so tell us about the remodeling in particular.
The remodeling was like a midwife measure. Midwife in the sense that what we inherited was a decayed, was a very dangerous, was a very unhygienic, very unsafe terminal. And terminals that were no longer able to accommodate the growth that we have in our passengers' movement. And so we had to increase the capacity and then to improve on the facilities that were there. I mean, most of us that live in Lagos use the domestic terminal almost every day or every week. What we had there was horrible, to say the least. And so it was no longer conducive. It wasn't anything that has T, not to talk about terminals attached to it. So we need to literally scrap them up and putting in place suitable environment that is meant for passengers' comfort. So the essence of rehabilitation is to provide a safe, a comfortable, and a secured traveling environment for our passengers. It was very, very necessary for us to do that. And we've accomplished that to a reasonable extent.
Beyond the remodeling, we know that you also have plans to build new terminals. Can you tell us about that as well?
Yes. Government is building 5 new terminals. Kano, Enugu, Port Harcourt, Lagos. Those are the new terminals. In addition to the new terminals, we're building about 16 perishable terminals. Again, we're growing at double digits. Currently, we're about almost 20 million. At double digits, it means that next year we're going to be looking at 40 million. That's huge. No country has that sort of growth apart from Brazil and maybe UK. And so the capacity itself, it's not there. So in addition to rehabilitating and increasing the volume, we have to build a new one, again, towards the growth. And aviation operates on the principle of if you build them, they will come. Meaning that the business is a continuous when it comes to growth. And we have been experiencing that.
So what would you tell us about the link with the Chinese government about those terminals?
So the Chinese are providing us a concessionary loan for those 4 terminals, not the 5, not the 5th one, but the 4. And that gives us 2% in terms of interest and 7 years moratorium, and it's a 22 years facility. It's like free money they are giving us. So we're happy to accept it, and it's working, and the terminals will be ready in 16 months. So for us, we're anxiously looking forward to that.